Okay, here's the last part for factoring these things and finding them. Sometimes they put them in weird forms. If you get them in weird forms, you really need to get them into ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Because what we are trying to find is we're trying to find the x-intercepts, which means y equals 0. If they have changed up this form and made it weird, you do have to make y equals 0, or a side equals 0. So our first step is going to be making sure these two things move the other side, so this side over here can just become 0. So let's do that. So we'll do negative 30, subtract it from both sides, so get 8x squared minus 30 equals 43x. Then I'll minus 43x, and I'll minus 43x. And now you can see that you'd get 8x squared minus 43x minus 30 equals 0. And so we've set it equal to 0. And now that makes it a lot easier to factor and find what these things are. So I've just written it above it. And now I'm going to think of the factors. And I'm going to think about what multiplies together to give me 8. And what multiplies together to give me negative 30. That will end up equaling 43 when we're all said and done. The two things I'm going to try with 8 are 4 and 2. Not sure if they'll work, but we'll see. And the two things I'm going to try with 30 is I'm going to try positive 5 and negative 6 and just see. So again, let's multiply things out. I'd get 8x squared minus 24x plus 10x minus 30. And we can see that this time we did not get a winner, because that gave me negative 14 in the middle, which means I chose some bad numbers, so we're just going to try again. So we're going to erase all the different things that I had, and I'm going to try a whole new combo. Okay, so the new combo I'm going to try is I'm going to try 8 times 1, and 8 times 1 would give me 8x squared. And then we'll try again negative 6 and positive 5, and we'll see if this works. So 8x squared, I get negative 48x, I get positive 5x, and I would get negative 30. And we can see that that works, so I'm going to stick, because that would end up giving me negative 43. And that's my middle term with that middle term. So I'm going to stick with this, and then we will solve this. So I'm going to erase this real quick right here. We'll end up solving these. So as I'm erasing this, think about how you would solve this. You would need to make one or both 0, so we're going to set them equal to 0. So we're going to say 8x plus 5 equals 0, and 1x minus 6 equals 0. So then we'll solve, subtract 5 from both sides here, get 8x equals negative 5, divide by 8, and get x equals negative 5 over 8. Do the same thing on this side, add 6 to both sides, get 1x is equal to 6, divide by 1, x equals 6. So our two answers are x equals 6 and x equals negative 5 over 8. Let's go to the very last example. Again, the problem with this is we don't have it equaling 0 on this side, so I'm going to subtract 2m to fix that, and get m squared minus 2m equals 0. Now this is a case where I don't have a c term. The nice part whenever you don't have a c term is you can factor by the greatest common factor. And so we're going to factor out the greatest common factor, which would be m. And then I would get m minus 2. Again, we have two things that are multiplied, so we're going to set these both to 0. We're going to say m equals 0, and we're going to say m minus 2 equals 0. Again, see how we pulled out the greatest common factor of this one because it has no c term. And when you pull out the greatest common factor, you just set both things equal. One answer is that m would be 0. So there's one answer. Then I'd solve this and say that m should just equal 2. So my two answers would be 2 and 0. So again, make sure you always have the right side of the equation equal to 0. And then after that, just check how many terms it has. If it has no b term, then it's conjugates. If it has no c term, it's greatest common factor. If it has all three trinomials, you just got to break it into two binomials. Okay, so a lot of this is factoring. Hopefully some good factoring review. If you get stuck on factoring some of these things, you can go back to previous assignments and try to watch some of those factoring videos to help. Or please ask me. Thanks.